Hello my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to my channel, all about motorbikes and sometimes cars also. So today I'll be doing a video on how to clean and lube and maintain your motorcycle chain. This is the motorcycle chain, alright? And this is a part that has been ignored by many of the riders very often. You just think it's just a chain, so what's the big deal about it? However, it is very critical. You got to make sure that the chain is not rusted, nor it's got too much murk or greasy stuff on it. So how do you inspect if your chain needs maintenance? Just touch your chain, take a look at it, alright? Take a look at it. If you find any kind of rust, you know how rust looks like. If you got any rust, then it's critical time. You gotta clean and lube your chain. Even if there's no rust on the chain, if you see any black stuff like this, greasy stuff, it is time to clean and lube your chain. This kind of greasy stuff it looks harmless, but it's very harmful. What it can do is it can generate additional friction, and it can sometimes tighten the chain beyond required, and also it can damage your O-rings and the whole performance and the flexibility and the play of the chain. And also it looks dirty. It's not a good thing. And if there's rust, rust is not good for a metal. So if there's too much rust and you don't maintain your chain, then you're calling for a new chain and a new sprocket, and that costs money. So it's not a good thing. And if you've got an exotic motorcycle, then you got to find parts. Alright, so today let's start with what do you need. What are the basic tools and stuff you need to clean and lube your chain? Number one, what you need is a stand, a paddock stand. This will lift up the motorcycle, and if you do not have this, you can still lube and clean your chain. However, you would have to do this part and then move the motorcycle all the way back and then do it again. I can show that to you. So, and basic stuff like this. You need, I use kerosene. Many of the motorcycle manufacturers recommend kerosene. It's not an exotic thing to go and buy from somewhere. You can get it, use kerosene. It's in a Colin bottle. This is not Colin, this is kerosene. It's good stuff for cleaning. It gets the murk out very fast. And WD-40, if you have, it's good, else that's fine. And you need chain lube, any good chain lube. This is some basic quality stuff anyway. And you need a basic old toothbrush, all right, and a mug, a cup, just to put some liquid or anything into it. A nice rag. Make sure you use a rag which is like a towel, which has got this kind of springs coming out, so this can get murk out well. By the way, that's our friend Nitro Methane, and she protects our motorbikes. She guards them all the time. Hey Methane, hello. Here. You busy? Alright. Talk to you later. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is just let you know, if you don't have the stand, what to do. If you don't have the stand, clean from here to here, alright? Wherever you can reach, clean from here to here, and then move the motorcycle back. Follow the dirty parts, and then clean it again. Alright? So what I'm going to do now is place the motorcycle on the paddock stand. You know what? Putting a motorcycle on the paddock stand looks like a very fairly simple job. However, it is not. Because when you're alone, you gotta straighten the motorbike and put pressure on the stand to lift it up. And many times it has happened that motorcycles have fallen. And you gotta be careful. Alright, this is a fairly lightweight motorbike. If you have a heavy motorbike, something like a Hayabusa or something, take help of someone who can hold the motorbike, straighten it up, and then you can put pressure on the paddock stand and lift it up. Okay, so let me put it on the stand right now. Okay, what I'm gonna do carefully is straighten the motorbike, okay, and put the stand up like this. Alright, this stand is a basic one. This doesn't have spools, so put gradual pressure on it and lift it up. And here your motorcycle is on paddock stand. The reason this is unstable is because this does not have spools. Usually you get spools which can be installed somewhere here, and the stand can get on the spools and it holds them pretty well, because this is just lifting it up from the bottom, so it's unstable. It can fall on either sides. Okay, so now back to making the video. Alright, so I need to get a little closer to the motorbike now. Let us start with taking some kerosene now, alright, and putting it into this mud cup, whatever you like to call it. Alright, and now put a rag at the bottom because you don't want to dirty your floor. Okay, some old dirty rag should be okay. Put it here. Start by cleaning the sprocket. Alright, the sprocket, clean this up. I would like to hold the motorbike from one side because my stand is a shaky stand. See, you see all the murk coming out? Yes. And remember, while you're doing this, your rear wheel is going to get dirty. It's going to get very dirty because of all the murk falling on it. So don't worry, but what you got to do is clean it up immediately after you clean up the chain, because if the murk dries up, it's not going to be easy to clean. So clean this up well. Or I can also do this, you know what? Just put this onto the alloy, rear alloy, put a cloth, alright? So there's some kind of protection there, okay? Do it this way, yep. This can help. You can really use our aftermath of cleaning the alloy. Take more of it. Hold the motorbike. Now time to turn it, get it to the dirty side. Alright, and continue doing that. And clean this up. Start with the sprocket. See how much of a difference it makes? It looks neat now. Alright. Also remember, you know what? A lot of people I've seen is they put oil, sometimes engine oil, and even grease to lubricate their chain. That is absolutely horrible. You're simply destroying the chain. The reason being, oil and grease is very sticky substance, and it sticks onto the chain and the chain sprocket, and the mud that flies off the road, off the ground when you're riding the motorbike sticks onto the chain and the chain sprocket, and the mud remains inside the grease or the engine oil and slowly keeps destroying your O-rings and the sprocket, and within no time you would need to replace your chain and the sprockets. So be very careful, never do that. A very good alternate if you don't have chain lube is to use WD-40 as a chain lube. WD-40 can do really good work It is a lubricant, it's a cleaner, it's everything, and it works really well on all kind of metals. So you can use that. I've done it quite a few times when I've ran out of chain of lube. I've used WD-40. Okay, I think it's time to rotate the wheel again. So what I'm going to do now is slowly spin the wheel on the top and hold it here. Hold this thing here. It's going to clean the inner side of the chain. Okay, I think I'm done there, and also do here. Very often people just clean here and on the top, they forget the rear side. Why? Isn't that part of the chain? Let's keep cleaning it this way. Now I need a really good shower, I think. Very soon I'll be done cleaning the other side now. Yep, looks like. Now, very important. What we gotta do is all this excess murk that we have here has to be cleaned up. So I'm gonna hold it and hold it with a rag, any rag which has got, it's like a towel, and slowly spin the wheel with your hand. I've seen many people, even at service centers, dealerships, do a mistake. I mean, I call it a mistake because it's hazardous to the person who is doing it. That is, they start the motorcycle and leave it in first gear and just hold it like this while the wheel is spinning. Never do that. It's absolutely dangerous. If your finger gets caught in between the chain and the sprocket, you'll lose your finger. Remember that. Anything about motorcycles, even if the motorcycle is running or parked or during maintenance, it's all about safety. So spin it with your hand, never start the motorbike, and do it gradually. So this way you can always stop spinning it with your hand if your finger gets stuck somewhere. And I got to clean the inner also. So I'm just going to place my finger up there. I'm not keeping it here because I'm too close to the sprocket. I'll be keeping it here. So I'm spinning it. Use a fresh side. Do it again. Okay. So much more, it never stops. And I'm gonna hold it from here and do it again by spin the wheel. Place equal pressure on all the four sides. Clean it up. I think it's fairly clean now. You see, this is a proof that it's clean, and let's actually clean the sprocket here a little. And now, I think before my rear wheel dries up, what I'm going to be doing is spray kerosene onto the rear wheel. You see that? That helps. And clean it up with the same cloth. Use the cleaner side. See, it just comes off. Kerosene is awesome, and it does not damage the paint, by the way. Okay, a little bit more kerosene. Clean it up. Also, don't spend too much time cleaning your rear wheel now, because after you lube the chain and start riding, some of the lube is gonna again spill on the rear wheel, so you might have to clean it one more time later on. So don't be too specific right now. Okay, and the chain sprocket has been cleaned up. Not very well, but yes, it has been cleaned up. The chain has been cleaned up, and now if I had an opportunity, I would have opened up the drive sprocket cap and would have cleaned it from inside. However, it's kind of a job now. I'm just thinking if I should do it. Alright, so what I've done right now is I've already loosened the bolts of the drive sprocket cap. Unfortunately, on our KTM 390 Duke, these 3 bolts are also the bolts of the stator cap, and there is engine oil inside, so we got to be very careful when we are tightening it or when you're loosening it, because the torque levels are different. This is aluminum, and these bolts are probably steel or something, so we shouldn't over tighten this. This can crack, and if we don't tighten it enough, oil can leak out, the engine oil. So careful with this, and I'm gonna slowly loosen the bolts and take out the cap of the drive sprocket. I'm not going to be taking it off the cap because I would like to put back the same bolts in the same place. That helps. These are sensitive areas because there's oil involved on the engine. If it starts leaking when you're riding, you are in trouble. Alright, and there's an Allen bolt here. I did that too. And you see that mark there? Jesus, that's crazy. That's dirty. And all this sand and everything, that's got to go. Well, even the clutch, even the cap of the drive sprocket could be dirty. Most of the times it is dirty. So this time I'm just going to be taking this rag and getting all the murk out. My God, that's a lot of mud. Yeah, go do it. Go that out. See that? And now, how do I get rid of this murk? Spray some kerosene on it. Yeah. Let it loosen out. You see all the sand here, sand granules? These can get into your drive sprocket and grind against them and absolutely damage your O-rings. Also, you might be thinking, why does this happen? This can happen because of over-lubing your chain. All the excess lube that collects all this sand and murk. So never over-lube it. Do it whenever required. Right. I think I'm going to use something like this Allen key here to get all the murk out. Whoop. That is horrible. You might be thinking, when was the last time you did this? Check that murk out. When was the last time? Well, not very long ago. It's been a few months. And this job was done at the dealership, and looks like the overload chain. I was right there, I was present. I did not think that was overloading, but now I know it's overloading. And today what I've decided is that I'm not going to be lubing the chain. It has got, I just realized that the last time I lubed it at the dealership, I mean I got it lubed, and they could have put too much lube, or whatever the reason is, the lube is accumulating murk, dirt, and it's converting into grease, and that grease is housing all the sand, and this is not a good equation. So I'm not going to be lubing it. It is pretty nice. What I'm going to be doing is, let me put the sprocket cover back up. Alright, so, oh, alright. I cleaned it up neat. You know, you see that, how neat it is? I cleaned it up with water and soap and made it neat and wiped it clean. Make sure you wipe it dry. And the bolts, I put the bolts in the same places where they belong to. In the sequence, we put them back. Also remember, when the drag sprocket cover is out and the bolts are not in, even if they are in or not, these exposed holes, they lead directly to the engine. Alright, and if you spray water on it right now, or if you spray any kind of a lubricant, this can go directly into the engine. Alright, so how do you understand if the bolts are tight enough? You know, we might not, I don't have the torque specifications here, so how do I understand this? So, for example, this bolt, alright, do not use too much force. What you got to be doing is gradually turn it. If it's happening without too much force, turn it. Else, no, looks like this is almost done, you know. Yeah, that's good. I'm not going to be using too much force, so that is an indication that it is tight. See, this going without force, and I think I am almost done. Right? I am almost done. Okay, and here, without force. Okay, without force. Okay. Yeah, that is great. Okay, just checking 1, 2, 3, right? And this one is just a hold around to the frame, so that is okay. That's tight enough anyway. No, let's check it like this. Yep, that's tight. So what I'm going to do right now is not going to be using chain lube, you know, and I'm going to be showing how you should be spraying. Even if it's going to be chain lube or WD-40. This time only WD-40 for me, because I don't wish to overlube it like last time and accumulate the smoke. So the best way to lube or spray something onto your chain is not from outside, because if you spray something up here, when you start the motorbike, the wheel is going to spin, and the centrifugal force generated is going to throw all of the lube out of the chain, so it's not going to help. You're going to just lose the lube. You got to spray it inside first, right? So that way, when you start the motorbike, the chain lube that you sprayed inside with the centrifugal force will come out, and it gets distributed evenly. So let me get rid of this dirty murk. And now the stand. Oh, what happened? Something went into my. Okay, now just hold it right here, okay, and start spinning it. that is good enough. You know what? We are done doing it, and I'm just going to spin it a few times just to make sure it's spinning fine. I'm not going to be doing it on the other side or anywhere because there's enough. Just spin your wheel. That's good enough. So, friends, we are done cleaning the chain, the sprocket, the drag sprocket area. So, things to remember: never start the motorbike, put it in gear, and try to hold the rag there. If you miss it and get your finger in between the chain and sprocket, you lose your finger. Don't do that. Number 2, never put engine oil or any kind of oil or grease onto your chain. Number 3, when you're spraying something, a chain loop, do not overspray it, do not overdo it. And if you're spraying chain loop or anything, spray it on the inner side, because remember, centrifugal force will get it out, and spray it evenly. If you spray it on the outer side, you'll lose it. Okay. And now it's almost everything's done now. I just got to clean up the floor. So do comment, write to me. Your suggestions are welcome. I'm not an expert, so I'm an amateur learning my own way. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.